welcome into this edition of HCAM Sports Talk. I'm your host, Tom Nappy. And joining us on the show today, we have Andy Barron from MyFm 101.3, Jared Keene from the Metrowest Daily News, and some guy named Mike Torosian. Mike, how are you? Welcome back to the show.
Hey, great to be back. I missed everybody. And, I really didn't miss much, obviously, the way my picks have been.
It's good to have you back, Mike. Definitely.
Good to see you, Mike. Jared. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And good to have Jared and Andy coming back. We're in the midst of the picks, and boy, there was all kinds of moving around in the standings this past week. I have to congratulate Jared. He's now in first place by 4 games. Or actually, no, 3 games, because Steve is in second place, and I fell to third. I feel like the Baltimore Ravens or something, falling all the way to third. And then we got Mike in fourth at 120 and 86, Andy in fifth at 119 and 87. So there you go. There's the standings. We'll have our week 15 picks coming up in the show, but we're going to start off with a topic that everyone's sick of, COVID. And there is a lot of positive cases recently in the NBA, the NHL, the NFL had, 37 cases this week?
In the NFL, yeah, or yesterday. I think yesterday alone.
That is not good. And then the NBA, they've already had 2 teams, the Bulls, and I think, was it Toronto? They had a bunch of players test positive. So it's spreading around. It's not good. And we're starting to see NBA games get canceled or moved. And there's rumors that they might not even make up a few of these NBA games. So
it would be a smart thing to do. I think they'd be crazy. I think they'd be crazy trying to get all these people back again. And I think that just makes matters worse. Move on.
You know, when the NBA did the bubble, I have to say it did work. I mean,
it did work.
It did. Yeah.
But I don't think they'll do that again. And I don't know if the players would be up for that either.
No, there's no way the players would go for it.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I mean, it's unfortunate that we're in this situation, but I think the Bulls have they've postponed or canceled 3 games. Now the Calgary Flames, they just had an outbreak, and who just played the Flames? Or the Bruins. Now they have 2 players in protocol. Now Bruce Cassidy just came back, but now I've been hearing there's more testing issues with the team. So who knows what's going to happen here? But you hate to be negative, but it's not looking good right now, guys.
No, and at this point, I think you kind of just have to deal with it. I think
we have to.
You just have to take it as it comes and play through it. And yeah, it could be a hassle to make up these games. I'd imagine they're going to make up as many as possible because you certainly don't want to lose the revenue. But you really just have to kind of learn to live with it. I mean, it's unfortunate. You're going to have games getting moved. You're going to have teams that can't play for a full week because they had too many teammates testing positive or coaches or whatever the case may be. But hopefully it doesn't affect NFL too much, especially since we're getting near playoff time. It could really make a mess.
It already has. I mean, obviously, this is a topic I've obviously talked about on the show before, guys, and it's something obviously I was concerned about in terms of happening. Especially now when you see an uptick in cases anywhere, things are going to happen all over the country. And obviously we're seeing that now in professional sports, which is really a shame. It's unfortunate and it stinks. Even with the sports that you mentioned, Tom, even in the English Premier League, soccer, I'm a big soccer fan. I think there were over 50 new cases yesterday. Manchester United, one of the most recognizable teams in the world, had to postpone their game today because of COVID issues on their team. So, just really crappy situation, really unfortunate situation, really difficult. And, all you can do is hope at this point that cases start coming down in all these sports because, I hate to see guys that should be playing every night or, that you want to see be playing every night be forced to miss games because of COVID. So,
and then, I'm surprised that the Lions actually got their game in with Denver. I mean, there was talk going around that they weren't going to have enough people to play, but they did. But I mean,
the Lions weren't, or both teams.
No, I think the Lions, they were having some big issues, I guess, with COVID last week. They weren't even sure if they were going to have enough players to play. But I think you hit the nail on the head too, that just, this is what happens when with the holiday season. And then, now you've got people traveling everywhere. The weather's getting colder. I mean, it hasn't been too bad around here, but still it just, the sun.
More indoor gatherings, more people congregating, and,
right.
That
Bound
leads
to see it.
Yeah.
So you just wonder, is there going to be any kind of rules coming up that maybe affects attendance at these games? Are they going to be cutting down on fans?
How are you going to get that on those?
Certainly
How you going to get that on those fans when you already sold all those tickets? And I think that's going to be a nightmare. And I think being fair to the fans. Well, the CDC guidelines are still being followed by the venues, and the CDC hasn't changed anything. So why would the venue change? I think what they need to do. I hate to say it, is to put the bubble around the players somehow a little bit more, because these are the 1% of everything. It's easier to bubble 1% than it is to exclude 50% of your fans or 75% of your fans again. Let's just protect these players and get them in some kind of bubble, some kind of routine. Keep them out of the public. You got a few more weeks left here. Let's go.
Yeah, I wonder if you could do that, though. I mean, all these players have their personal lives, and we know there's some young guys that like to go out and playing in the NBA and NHL or whatever the case may be. And it's a long season still left in the NHL and NBA. So I think it's kind of tough to bubble these guys up. I'd imagine some teams are going to try to do it and maybe implement some rules. They probably should.
And I don't know why the players wouldn't do it themselves on their own. I mean, you don't see these guys do mountain climbing or downhill skiing during the season. They wait till after. All right, so don't socialize. Be a little less social. You already did it one year. Do it again for a few more weeks.
Here's the thing. You can't really just start. I mean, I don't think we're ever going to get to the point again, hopefully, that they're not going to start sizing back arenas. And here's the other thing. They can't afford to do it. These clubs have lost so much money. They're not going to make any money probably for the next 5 years, guys. I mean, seriously, the amount of money that these teams lost was astronomical.
Yep.
I mean, empty NFL stadiums, you know how much money that is that they lose, parking, food and
ticket sales.
Well, in the NFL, at least they get so much money from
the TV revenues.
The NFL, I probably feel least bad about. Obviously, they lost money. Let's face the facts here, but they still make a lot of money from the TV deals, and they still have a lot of advertising revenue coming in for various things. So the NBA, though, and the NHL, those are two leagues that, number one, you don't have as many fans at because the arenas are typically smaller, but also you're losing money for 82 games all season long, and they have their TV deals and stuff like that. But let's face it, they're not as big as the NFL. They're not making as much money off those TV contracts as the NFL does. So the NBA and NHL, they're the leagues that are facing the most danger here, I would say.
If anyone that can take the hit, it is the NFL. Sure. The NFL can take a hit of the loss. Eventually they will get their shareholders, their profits, and so forth. All right, they're not making money, but they're not hurting either. Okay, you don't see the big losses. You don't see. I mean, I think they suffered a little in the first year where they paid everybody that hey, listen, staff, hey, hot dog slinger, no work for you, but we're gonna give you some money. I think they did okay. I tell you, because at $12 a beer, I'm sure that gives them a nice next thing. All right. They'll get it back. I'm not worried about them.
Yeah, no, you're right on that. But it's just they couldn't afford to do it for another season. I mean,
I think they could.
It's still.
We'll see.
I think it would definitely hurt sport. I think it would hurt a sport like the league like the NBA. They've struggled for TV ratings. I mean,
they've been struggling for TV ratings for a long time because of other reasons.
Right. They get too involved in issues that they shouldn't get involved in. I think
exactly.
But if they end up losing fans for whatever reason, not that I think they will necessarily, but if they end up sizing back the arenas, I think the NBA would take the biggest beating out of all the winter sports going on. But I think they're going to play with it. I don't see anything coming down the pipe that shows that they're going to adjust any of the rules.
I think, Tom, I think if this continues for the next week or two, I think you could definitely see something. Just in terms of, again, the safety of the players. I think, again, for now, I think they might not do anything. But if this really current trend continues, I think you're going to see something happen. Definitely. Absolutely.
So Jared, like, would you think, like, maybe like in the NBA, for example, would they push courtside seats back? Because remember how they did that where they wouldn't have fans near the players? Maybe something like that would happen. But
I'm honestly not exactly sure what they would do, but maybe, yeah, that's certainly a possibility. Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see what they come up with. I'm obviously, I can't obviously say what they're going to do. But I mean, yeah, I think anything is possible at this point.
The other thing too,
especially if things continue to worsen, which is certainly possible right now, considering how things are going. So,
well, we do have a little bit of breaking news.
Yeah.
The Browns have now placed 8 players on the reserve COVID-19 list.
You gotta be kidding me.
Including Jarvis Landry, Jedrick Wills, Austin Hooper, guard Wyatt Teller, Takaris McKinley, who's defensive end, guard Drew Forbes, JoJo Natson, and Ross Travis. So
that might change my pick for Saturday.
They are supposed to play the Raiders on Saturday, so that game's in danger now.
Yeah.
Especially if the Browns end up not having enough players. I mean, I'd imagine they'll call up some of those practice squad guys, but that's like 5 or 6 guys you got on the practice squad additionally.
This is on. I mean,
that's
what is up with the Browns though? Like, this is like the second breakout they've had, I think, on their team this year.
Yeah,
because they had a breakout when they played the Patriots too. Like,
they are the Browns.
Oh, I'm actually playing a little bit better, but
must be an Ohio thing. I don't know.
You know what? We'll just have to blame COVID on the Browns. So
real.
I would have picked the Browns too, probably. I'm not picking the Raiders. I think nobody's picking the Raiders right now. The Raiders.
I think with those names, I think I'm still picking the Browns.
Yeah, Jarvis Landry is a good player.
He is,
yeah.
but that this is not good. I mean, again, I don't think they're not going to postpone any games or anything like that. But it just doesn't. I guess maybe Jared's right. If this does keep trending in this direction, then they're going to have to probably do something. I mean, because, you're getting into the playoffs and you're getting into, there's going to be a lot of cold weather games too. And I don't know. It's just
due to this, though, the Browns will not be practicing in person this week. All their meetings will be held virtually.
Wow. Yeah. And they got a short week too. They're game Saturday.
Oh, they got to get some good practice tackling laptops. That's going to be awesome.
I wonder if they all have sleds at home they can practice on.
They probably all have like a Peloton system.
Well, Baker Mayfield lives at the stadium, so he's good. You hope that for the sake of the Browns, he doesn't test positive. Then they'll be in real trouble. But yeah, that might adjust my pick. I'm going to be thinking a lot about that because the Browns did get a very well-needed win against the Ravens last week. And what was a close game, and the Raiders have just been falling apart. So I'm still very torn on who I'm going to pick in that game. But in any case, a big thank you to TB12 and the Tampa Bay Bucks for a nice win against the Buffalo Bills, putting them 2 games back in the AFC East.
That was a heck of a game. That was a great game.
How did
the overtime was very exciting.
Yes. How did the Bills get back in that thing? Is what
I have no idea.
I think Tampa Bay went to sleep, to be honest with you. I think they
Josh Allen picked it up a little bit and Tampa Bay went to sleep. It's
and I think it was
both.
And I think coaching was another issue too.
Yeah.
I think that was part of it too. But the Bills are still the Bills and Tom Brady is still Tom Brady. Nothing changes.
You got that right.
33-3 against the Bills for Tom Brady.
He's thrown like 74 career touchdown passes against the Bills, which is just, it's not even.
And he broke the receptions record.
Yeah, and he's now got 700 touchdowns in his career. It's just
unbelievable.
Yeah.
I think he's got 1 record left to break or something, is it?
Probably. Can't be many.
When Tom Brady goes into the Hall of Fame, he's going to have his own area. I mean, this guy has literally changed the entire game of football.
His own Hall of Fame.
He'll be the goat wing.
Yeah, him and Belichick both. I mean, it's them and that's it. There's nobody else.
I want a Pats Bucks Super Bowl so bad.
Everybody does.
Everybody does.
But with all the storylines this year and how everything's lining up, oh my God, it would just be amazing. But in any case, why don't we get into our NFL picks? And there's a lot to consider this week. All right, Thursday night football. It all starts with the Chiefs and the Chargers. This is a game that both teams desperately need. The Chargers got a dominant win against the Giants last week. And I had the Giants spread in a pool, so I wasn't happy that it was that dominant. I didn't think Giants would win, but anyway. Kansas City has been red hot, and they are looking as if they are getting in shape to clinch that division. I'm going to go Chiefs in this one. I think it'll be a very close game. I think both teams are going to be playing for their life here, as it's really a very important game, probably the most important Thursday night game we've seen in quite a while. But I'm going to go Chiefs. Let's go to Mike. Who are you going with in this one?
Yeah, listen, I'm with you on that. Chiefs, the 6th straight. I think number 7 in Los Angeles. So, yeah, give me the Chiefs.
All right, now we'll go to Mr. First Place, Jared Keene. Jared, who are you going with?
I want to go with the Chargers here really bad, but I'm going to go with the Chiefs. The Chiefs are just hot right now. They're looking, again, like the Chiefs that we're used to. I agree, Tom. I think this is going to be a really close game. I think the Chargers could certainly hang in this. But I'm going to go Chiefs.
Well, I just realized that since you're in first place, I'm going to have you pick first a lot.
Oh, boy.
Andy,
oh, boy.
Who are you going with?
I kind of agree with Jared here. I was tempted to take the Chargers too, because I think they give the Chiefs some problems, but they're just too up and down for me. And the Chiefs are playing really, really well. And as much as I don't like the Chiefs, I can't really bet against them right now. So I'm taking Kansas City.
All right. Kansas City across the board. I don't think anyone likes the Chiefs.
Right. Let me tell you something. I think there's going to be a little bit of. I think it's going to be a close game this week. It's going to be
definitely
within 2 or 3 points.
I'm looking for.
If the Chiefs lose this game, then the Chargers are in position to win that division because
Chargers
they
looking
have
good,
2 wins over them, and that helps out the Patriots even more.
Yep.
But I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I mean, it's a division game, so you never know what's going to happen in a lot of cases. But yeah, I mean, the Chiefs are they're scalding hot, and that defense has even taken a step up. So you got to like the Chiefs right now. All right, moving on. We have a couple Saturday games. We have Las Vegas at Cleveland. And for those of you just tuning in, I did just mention that Cleveland had a number of players test positive for the Rona, including wide receiver Jarvis Landry. So they're having some issues. The Raiders, they're just having all kinds of issues on and off the field. They're an absolute mess. Let's start off with Mr. First Place, Jared, for this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Browns here still. The Raiders are just a disaster. Again, now I don't feel great about this, but I'm still going to pick the Browns. I will say if the Browns lose, I don't think that should count against us. Anybody that picks the Browns because of the COVID issues. If they have a bunch of players miss the game.
That's not the way it works. Not when you're in first place.
Hey, that's the way we've done it all season. That's the way we've done it all season. All right, I'm going with the Browns.
If Baker Mayfield's out, maybe. All right, Mike.
I'm sticking with the Browns. I don't think the players involved are that are going to make that much of a difference. Will they hold them defensively? I don't know. But I'm going to go with the Browns unless, of course, we lose 6 more of them before Saturday.
Which is possible.
Might want to pick up Peoples-Jones in fantasy. He could have a big week. Andy, who you going with?
Yeah, I'm going to still go with the Browns. They actually have played a little bit better. I mean, they are banged up too. The defense is still pretty good. The Raiders are an absolute disaster. They were embarrassed by the Chiefs this past week. I think they're done. And even with all the issues they have in the team, I still think they get this victory done because they are still in that playoff race as well.
I really was thinking this could be a letdown game for the Browns after they got that win against the Ravens. And of course, now they have the COVID cases. But you're right. The Raiders are just awful. they've been terrible. I
They're so
can't.
talented. Their offense is so talented. They can't put it together. They just can't do it.
I think Carr needs to go.
Yeah, I think that's part of it because they have talented players, but they just can't put it together.
Yeah, I can't bring myself to go with the Raiders, so I'll go with the Browns here. So it'll be Browns across the board. All right, the night game, 8:15 kickoff. New England at Indy. I think this might be the toughest remaining game on the schedule. Well, you got Miami still. That could be a tough one. But this is a tough one for the Pats. They're coming off the bye week. So I love Belichick and the Pats coming off the bye week. I'm going to go New England here. Andy, who you going with?
Yeah, I'm taking the Patriots too. The Colts are a tough team. Jonathan Taylor is easily the toughest running back we're going to see all year, besides Alvin Kamara, who we saw. We didn't see Derrick Henry, but I just think the Patriots their defense is clicking on all cylinders. It was an excellent performance by that defense against Buffalo, and the Colts still have Carson Wentz. He's a turnover waiting to happen. He always has been. I think he's still limping around. I mean, the Colts are a tough team. Don't get me wrong.
Well, he's a turnover or an injury waiting to happen.
Both. I just think the Patriots, they get back to it this week, and I think it's going to be close, but they're going to end up pulling this one out.
He's injury on a turnover waiting to happen. I think.
Yeah, and who the Colts? I mean, the Colts are just. They're going to make Carson Wentz try to beat them. You know the way Bill is, and I just think with that Patriots, the way that Patriots secondary is playing right now, and they will throw more than 3 passes in this game. I can assure you that.
Yeah, they might throw 5 or 6. But yeah, I mean, off a bye week, you just hope the bye week doesn't cool them down a little bit.
The Colts came off a bye week too,
right?
So I mean, both teams kind of have a fair game here, but and they're in the dome. I mean, Patriots they play really well inside the domes. I mean,
they certainly do. All right, Mike, who you going with?
Well, I guess I'm going for the Patriots too. I mean, well, first off, I love a Patriots off of a bye week. I love just about any team off of a bye week. But 7 straight games and 6-0 on the road. Colts are what, 3-4 at home. So yeah, Patriots.
All right, Jared.
Last time I tried picking against the Patriots to try to get a game up on you, Tom, it didn't work out too well for me. So yeah, Mike, I took the Bills that week.
Yeah,
when they lost to the Patriots. So
I'm with you.
I'm going to the Patriots. Yeah, I mean, Andy said it best. They're going to make Carson Wentz try to beat them. Their secondary is playing really well. This could be tough. Again, this could be a 2 or 3 point game. Could come right down to the wire, but just the way the Patriots are playing right now, I think you got to go with the Patriots.
Absolutely. All right, moving on to the Sunday games.
Tom, if the Colts do win this game, though, I'm going to be a little upset with myself for not picking the Colts. But we'll see. We'll see.
Well, if the Patriots win this game, I'll be upset that you didn't pick the Colts. So. All right, we got Dallas at New York Giants in the 1:00 Sunday games. Anybody going to go Giants here?
No.
Okay, Dallas across the board. Giants are falling apart once again. Mike Glennon is what, like 6-37 in his NFL career starting.
But speaking of Dallas, like they literally almost blew that game to Washington. That throw by Dak Prescott was atrocious. 4 minutes.
Absolutely atrocious.
What are you doing? That is all coaching, and that's why I do not take this team seriously. They will win this game because the Giants stink, but there is no way I am picking Dallas to win the NFC. None.
No.
I was so mad that Washington didn't beat Dallas. I could have got the game on Jared. It could have been a whole different story we were talking about.
Yeah, but seriously, I couldn't believe.
But yes, they almost.
It is Dallas.
Andy, is Mike McCarthy the worst coach in the NFL?
Yeah, I think he is.
Well, I think the guy, what's his face in Jacksonville, might.
Oh, Urban Meyer? Yeah.
Urban Meyer.
Okay.
Speaking of Jacksonville, we have our dumpster fire matchup of the week. The Houston Texans at the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm not picking Jacksonville ever again. They have done nothing but backstab me. I'm going Houston here. Jared, who are you going with?
Yeah, I'm going with the Hamilton card here. This is an atrocious game. I've absolutely no say in who I absolutely think could remotely win this game. I'm going like maybe there's going to be a safety. It's going to be like 2-0.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right,
I'm going. All right, if you need a team, I'm going with Houston. I can't pick Jacksonville, but I'm going Jacksonville or Houston / tie Hamilton card, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
What an atrocious game this is.
This
Good
is
Lord.
the worst game of the year.
Awful. If you want a good comedy, though, Mike, who you going with?
Well, definitely, I'm going with Houston. I mean, each team only get 2 wins, and the only reason is the Texans don't look as bad as the Jaguars. So I'm going with the Texans.
I think the Crimson Tide could be both of these teams.
Yeah.
Andy, who
I think
you
the
going with?
Clockers could beat them.
Yeah.
I'll go with Houston. They actually beat Jacksonville in week 1. They blew them out pretty good. These teams are just not going in the right direction whatsoever. And like I say, this is what you get when you get a guy like Urban Meyer. It's always something with this guy. I don't know how they bring him back for another year, but I think they will. But I don't know how they can, because there's too much money involved.
Agree. Couldn't agree more.
Too much money. That's why.
Yeah, I think they will for one more year, but I'd say that's about it.
It's not going to get any better. I mean, this guy, I've never seen anybody like this guy. Somebody compared him to Nick Saban the other day. Well, I will say this: Saban wasn't great in Miami. He was better than Urban Meyer is doing right now.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
Agreed.
and it's not even close as far as college coaching. Oh, please, not even close. I mean,
You would think they could, I don't know, pull off something. I mean, what they randomly beat, who was it? Cincinnati or Tennessee?
they beat Remember, they beat Buffalo 9-6.
Yeah, Buffalo. I still don't know how they won that game.
That was the demise of Buffalo after losing to Jacksonville.
Yep.
I mean,
And then Jacksonville just went back to being just horrible. They
well, I got
can't
to tell
score
you, when
points.
Jacksonville comes here in 2 weeks, that's going to get really ugly because Mac Jones is from Jacksonville. And they told me he's
right.
not.
He was sporting there's a bunch of photos with him sporting a Jacksonville jersey. That'll be an interesting game.
I bet you're glad he's not playing there.
Right. Speaking of interesting games, this is probably the best of the 1:00 slate. Tennessee at Pittsburgh. This is a crucial battle for both of these teams. Both of them could really use this win. Pittsburgh is what did they do last week?
6-6. Right?
Lost to the Vikings in
they
Thursday
lost.
Night Football.
Right. They lost to the Vikings. They're starting to fall apart again, I think. I'm going to go Titans here. I think Tennessee is firing on most cylinders right now. Pittsburgh, I don't know. You don't know what you're going to get with them. You really don't. This game could really go either way. But I will go Tennessee for now. We'll see if I change it. Jared, who are you going with?
I was hoping you were going Pittsburgh there all the way, Tom. I'm going Tennessee. They got the receivers back. AJ Brown is healthy. Julio Jones is actually finally healthy now. Finally. Yeah, they're gonna get it done this game. I don't trust Pittsburgh at all. I haven't trusted Pittsburgh for a long time now. So, yeah, Pittsburgh has some issues, and give me Tennessee.
Well, I trusted Tennessee fully until they lost to the Jets that one week. Mike, who are you going with?
Well, I was thinking the Steelers myself, and you look, Titans at 9-4, Steelers at 6-1. Vrabel deserves a ton of credit for the way the Titans look this year. However, my heart is telling me to go with the Steelers. I don't know why.
Ooh.
I don't know if it's because I want to be a little different than Tom and try to. I'm in fourth place.
I'm not in first anymore. You should be targeting Jared, not me.
I know that, and Jared just went Titans as well. So it's like I don't know. I
can't trust Pittsburgh. I can't trust Pittsburgh right now at all.
Well, you know what? I trust them in the beginning, and
then
they let me down. The rest of I think I lost my spot because of all my Steelers picks. But you know what? I'm going to be different. I'm going to go Steelers.
All right, I like it. Andy, who are you going?
Taking Tennessee, I can't trust the Steelers. Jared said it best. They lost to a Vikings team, and you tied the Lions. Doesn't that say enough? I mean,
they did tie the Lions.
Yeah. They're not. Tennessee's got their problems, but they're starting to get healthy again. and they're still a pretty good team. I mean, they are, and they're still right on the Patriots' heels. So I just think the Steelers are not going in the right direction. I'd be very surprised if they make the playoffs, to be honest with you.
Who the hell ties the Lions? Ridiculous.
They tied the
seriously.
Lions. Horrible.
All right.
Hey,
Jets.
the Vikings lost to the Lions. That's worse. But
Yeah, that's right. Too.
You want to talk about up and down teams?
the Vikings
Minnesota
lost
Vikings.
up and down team all year.
Vikings. They're just, you never, ever know what you're going to get out of that team.
They're ridiculous. All right. Jets at Miami. Anybody going to go Jets here?
No.
No.
I didn't think so. Miami across the board.
It would be funny if Miami did lose this game, though. I mean,
That would be a little wild.
it's still the Dolphins. And
I'm sorry. It's going to be funny when Pittsburgh wins. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oof. All right, Mike. Okay.
I think Kevin gave up on the picks. Should I just give him all the upset picks and see how he does?
Yeah.
All right,
Give it to him. See if he can get back to 500.
I'm going to do it. He's going to pick the opposite of the majority on all of them, and we're going to see what he can
I
do.
mean, he probably would anyway. So
That's
Yeah.
right.
All right, so he's getting the Jets. Okay. All right, Washington football team at Philadelphia. This is a crucial NFC East game.
oh man.
Crucial for both teams as far as playoffs are concerned. Right now, the Cowboys are first place in the NFC East. And then Washington and Eagles, both 6 and 7. They're both 3 games back. I mean, I have to imagine that the Cowboys are going to be able to finish off the NFC East. They really control their own destiny. If they blow it at this point, I think Cowboys fans should just give up forever because that would be absolutely ridiculous. But also the 7th spot is still up for grabs by a bunch of the 6 and 7 teams. If you think about that 7th spot in the NFC, you got Washington, Eagles, Vikings, Falcons, Saints, all at 6 and 7. And then you got the 49ers at 7 and 6. And then even still technically enter the Seahawks and Panthers at 5 and 8. So a lot of teams still in the mix there. This is a crucial game. Let's start off with Mr. First Place. Jared, who you going with?
Yeah, this might be the toughest game to pick of the weekend, to be completely honest with you. This is obviously a classic NFC East battle. These teams get after it. I'm going to go Philly here on kind of gut instinct. That's really all I have to go base off of. I mean, again, Washington is a tough team, but I'm going to go Philly here. Washington could easily win this game. If they do, so be it. But again, this is about as even as it gets. Again, classic NFC grinded out battle. I'm going Philly. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
I think this is going to be a great game. This could be a game that comes down to a field goal. I'm going to go Washington football team because I need to get back into this thing and claim my rightful spot at the top.
You do love the Washington football team, so there you go.
They've stabbed me a few times, but they've also helped me a few times. All right, Mike, who you going with?
Well, I tell you, the only reason I'm going for it is because it's the home team. This is going to way too close to tell. I'm talking 1-2 points. I'm going with Philadelphia only because they're the home team.
All right. And you know what? I'm going to predict this game goes into overtime.
Andy's going to Washington here. I know Andy's going to Washington
You
here.
go with
Yeah.
Oh, Washington. Again, they showed some fight against Dallas. They got some injuries, unfortunately, that have hurt them, but I don't trust Philadelphia. I mean, what are you going to get out of that team each week either? I mean, this might be a 16-14 game. It's just got it written all over it. One of those classic NFC East type of games, but I still think Washington is a little bit better. And I got to give Ron Rivera credit. He's a pretty good coach. I mean, he's had a lot of stuff thrown at him this year. Now, Taylor Heineke, I believe, might be out and Kyle Allen's in, but I still like Washington here.
All right. And we'll give Kevin Washington. All right, there it is. All right, Arizona at Detroit. Anybody going Detroit?
No, Arizona by about 10,000 in this game.
All right, Kevin's going.
Oh, I wouldn't do that. I was only going to say about 7,000.
Oh, come on. At least give Kevin Arizona. Don't give him the Lions, please.
Yeah,
All
Arizona.
right.
I mean,
Yeah, don't
Give
even
him Arizona, please.
I'll switch it to Detroit though if Detroit wins to help them out.
All right, there you go.
no, Arizona, bad loss from them the other night. by the way, but there's no way they should lose this game. I mean,
I can't believe DeAndre Hopkins dropped that ball on 4th and 2. That was right in his hands.
I
couldn't
know.
believe that.
Yeah, and Kyler Murray throwing that intercept. You know, Arizona has some very questionable play calls sometimes during the games that I just simply don't understand, and they've kind of muffed at least 2 games that they probably should have won here. I don't know.
What happened to their defense last night is what I want to know. All right, Carolina at Buffalo. Anybody going to go Panthers?
No.
All
It would be nice to see that if the Bills can't beat Carolina, then
No.
Well, Kevin thinks the Panthers are going to win. All right, moving on to the 4:00 games. Cincinnati at Denver. Let's start off with Andy for this one.
I'm taking Denver. I'm kind of off the Cincinnati train. They've kind of reverted back to their old ways, and I actually think Denver's been playing pretty well here. Tough to beat at home too. They're still tough to get the mile high thing, and they're fighting for that one of those last playoff spots. I'm going with the Broncos.
All right, Mike.
Yeah, I'm with you too on the Broncos. Both of these teams really need the win, to help their chances, but Broncos got the momentum on their side. And, of course, the home field advantage.
All right, Jared.
Yeah, that's a bit of a risky one, but I'm going Cincinnati here. The Broncos are playing really well, but I think Cincinnati needs this win a little bit more, given their little slide right now. I think they're going to play with some desperation, and I think you're going to see Cincinnati get after it a little bit this week. Again, I think it's going to be close. I don't think Cincinnati's going to blow them out by any means, especially in Denver where it's tough to play. But I am going to go Cincinnati here.
Yeah, I think this game's going to be close. Denver has been playing a little bit better. I think this could be an overtime kind of game. I'm going to go Denver here. I want to get back in first place. So give me the Broncos.
I feel you. I don't blame you a single bit there.
All right, Kevin gets Cincinnati since that was the least picked team. Atlanta at San Francisco. I'm going San Francisco in this one. I just don't trust Atlanta. The 49ers, they've been very up and down, but they're very much in the mix, and they've been playing. They played good last week against Cincinnati. They had a terrible game against Seattle the week before. They are very up and down, but Atlanta, I just think they're pretty hopeless. So I'll go 49ers. Jared, who are you going with?
Oh, man. This is actually another tough one. But I'm going to go with the 49ers. I don't feel great about it. Again, the 49ers, a team I don't think you can really trust. I know we say that I feel like we say that about half the teams in the NFL.
Well, I mean, there are a lot of 6 and 7, 7 and 6 teams.
Yeah.
So.
But the Falcons, I don't know, been a little bit too down this year. Yeah, I'm going to go SF.
This might be one of like the seasons that everyone's like the closest, really. I mean, obviously there's some great teams like the Bucs, the Pats, and this team.
Yeah, there's a big log jam here. Big log jam.
When you're looking at the playoff spots 3 through 7, big log jam. All right, Mike, who are you going with?
Again, with trust issues. We're loaded with the trust issues, but I just happen to have more trust in the 49ers defense right now. So and I think the defense is going to carry this game. 49ers.
All right, Andy.
I'm going with Atlanta. They have played well in San Francisco the last couple times they've gone out there. I don't trust the Niners. I just don't trust Jimmy Garoppolo and Kyle Shanahan. I've been down on them.
Do you trust the Falcons, though? Do you trust Atlanta?
No, but they're actually haven't been playing that bad.
No, they haven't. I mean,
ever since
that's why it's a little more difficult to pick than you think.
I just think this is a game that they very well can win, and I don't know how they're 6 and 7, but they're right there, and I think the Falcons are going to pull this one out.
Yeah, they
have a shot at the playoffs. I mean,
Atlanta has won 2 of their last 3.
49ers struggle with Atlanta. They have over the last couple of years. For some reason, they don't play well against the Falcons.
Yeah. They looked good last week, though, I must say. But, yeah, they did look good against Cincinnati. That was a good win by San Fran. All right, Seattle against the Los Angeles Rams. Anybody taking the Seahawks here?
I'm tempted to, but no.
I was tempted to as well, Jared, but no, the Rams are the better team.
All right, well, Kevin's taking the Seahawks.
I think the Rams are right now. I think the Rams are the biggest, and they showed it last night. The Rams are the biggest threat to the Bucks in the Super Bowl, or to make the Super Bowl in the NFC.
Absolutely.
I mean, they beat a really good Cardinals team last night without Jalen
Rams
Ramsey.
and Cardinals, I think you could pick either one of those as the biggest threat.
Yeah, I think the Rams defense gives Tom Brady a lot of problems.
Yeah,
he has struggled against the Rams the last few years.
And he hit the nail on the head.
We can't forget about the Packers, though. They did beat the Cardinals. I think you got to put the Packers in there. Speaking of the Packers, what a great transition that was. They are taking on Baltimore. It is at Baltimore, and this is a crucial game for both of these teams, especially Baltimore.
It's a huge game for Baltimore. Huge, massive.
And since let's have you start off. Green Bay at Baltimore. Who you got, Jared?
Yeah, Green Bay. Green Bay is playing really well right now. Lamar Jackson is playing like SHIT. He's been terrible recently, and Aaron Rodgers is rolling, coming off a 4 TD performance. Give me Green Bay. All
right, Mike.
Thanks for keeping it clean for television, Jared.
I've been known to not keep it clean, so there you go.
Well, it's fine if we were just.
I actually rather you say it because then I just put the bleep sound in and it's funnier.
Oh, dang it.
Well, the Packers are simply the better team and hotter team. I'm going with the Packers.
All right, Andy.
Packers. Even though I don't like the Packers, the Ravens are completely falling apart, and Lamar Jackson, he's just not the guy. He just can't get it done. I mean, he's always hurt. He's caught making a bad throw here and there, but no, the Packers are the better team, and they're playing for seeding right now too. So I mean, they're trying to get that number 1 seed in the NFC, and they're the better team.
It's interesting how this slide has gone for the Ravens, because you look at that game against the Steelers, that pass by Lamar Jackson, the 2-point conversion. If that's an inch closer to Mark Andrews, they win that game.
Yeah.
And
it clearly affected them against the Browns.
Yep.
They almost came back. They were getting crushed in that game and then worked their way back in it. Obviously could get back in it. But, yeah, Baltimore is too shaky. Green Bay is on fire right now. I can't go against my boy Aaron. So give me Green Bay to take down Baltimore, and we'll put Baltimore down for Kevin. Trying to get you back in, Kevin. Let's hope we get him back on the show sometime, too.
Let's get Bob on the show soon, too. We need a Kevin sighting and a Bob sighting on the show.
Well, Bob said he hasn't been watching football this season, which is very unfortunate. That is a little
unfortunate.
We invent the Bob card in our picks. And
I always like hearing Bob's takes, too. He always has great takes in these games.
Yep.
He is a wise man.
If we can get all 4 of us plus Bob, Kevin, and Steve and get a seven people on the show, we'd be.
Yes.
We might have to go into overtime.
We'll have to do that for like our Super Bowl special.
Yeah, let's do it in the postseason where we have less teams to talk about.
All right, Sunday Night Football. This is a big one for both teams. New Orleans at Tampa Bay. Tampa, obviously, they don't have as much on the line as New Orleans, who's trying to make the playoffs and is still technically in the race, but they could end up getting the 1 seed if they win this week. And I believe if the Green Bay Packers lose, I think Tampa could move into that 1 spot. But I am going to go TB12 in Tampa. New Orleans, they are very up and down lately. They beat the Jets last week, which was expected. And
they finally had Alvin Kamara back.
Yes.
I mean, they hadn't had Alvin Kamara for 4 games. I think all of us are going Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Again, even having Alvin Kamara back, but
anyone go New Orleans here?
No, I was tempted to because they actually give Tampa Bay problems. But I just think they're too banged up, and Alvin Kamara back helps, but they simply just don't have enough. And Tampa Bay's rolling right now. I don't know how you can pick a guy after what they did this week.
Yeah, New Orleans started off the season playing very good defensively, and that has just kind of come to a halt.
Yeah, I was going to say, because the Saints already beat the Buccaneers earlier this season. Can they do it again? No.
Yeah. Well, Kevin's going New Orleans. So there you go.
No, give Kevin TB12. He loves
Yeah,
TB12.
no.
Come on, give him a break. Give him
Not
TB12.
bashing him. No wonder why he doesn't want to come back on the show, Todd. You kill him.
It's out of love. We want him back. We miss him. That's why we were bashing him. He doesn't come on the show enough.
I can imagine what you were saying when I was gone.
Oh, you don't want to know. All right. Monday Night Football, Minnesota Vikings at Chicago. This is a matchup of the absolutely questionable. The Vikings, they've been extremely up and down, totally unpredictable. The Bears, they've been mostly horrible. So I'll go Vikings here. Mike, who you going with?
Yeah, I'm going Vikings. The Bears have a chance to play the spoiler card on this game, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think they'll take advantage of that chance.
All right, Andy.
The Vikings, I mean, if they can't win this game, then I don't even know what to tell you. And they're still in the hunt for the playoffs. Again, this is a very talented team. I mean, they are a talented football team. They just can't put it together. And I still can't get that loss to the Lions out of my head. I mean, that might have cost them the season, really. I mean, but they're better than Chicago. I think we can all agree with that.
They really need to think about coaching in Minnesota. Too much talent to have a 6-7 record.
Without a doubt.
Jared, who are you going with?
Yeah, Vikings. Not enough said. Again, too much talent.
All right. Well, Kevin thinks Chicago is going to pull off the upset. All right. So we have Vikings across the board, and that is going to be an interesting Monday Night Football game. The Bears likely out of the race, but the Vikings very much in there, and they could certainly use a win. All right. We got a couple minutes left, so let's go around the table. Any final thoughts? We'll start off with Jared.
Oh, man. I would bring up COVID, but we've already talked about COVID. And again, I know I pretty much bring it up every week. Just looking forward to the Patriots game this weekend. And but I might miss the Patriots game as well this weekend. I got double coverage on Saturday. Warriors for Warriors, Patriots for Patriots hockey, which is LS against Concord Carlisle and girls and boys hockey. Where proceeds go to the Scott Milley Foundation. Scott Milley was from Sudbury. I know his family. I was good friends with his brother, Steve. He was killed in action. And so they do like a LS Concord Carlisle girls and boys hockey thing that they've done every year for a while now. And so I might miss some of the Patriots game, but getting some of that coverage in this weekend, which would be nice.
Well, that's great. That's a great event to cover. Where's that game? Is it in Concord, Carlisle?
It's at the New England Sports Center.
Oh, perfect. There you go. I have a game Saturday night too. It might be in the afternoon. I got to look. I forget. That is certainly a great cause, and you should get some good hockey over there between those two teams. Andy, any final thoughts?
Okay, so I've said it before, but I'm going to say it again. What are the Boston Celtics doing? What is their future?
That's a good one.
What is their plan? What do they really want to do? What do they want to become? All right. They promote Brad Stevens, which I have just no idea why they did. They hire Udoka, he's okay, I guess, but he hasn't changed anything either. This is a player's problem. Okay, you've got to stop with we got to trade this guy or trade that guy. You got to have a plan, and they don't have a plan. Now, I know they beat Milwaukee the other night, but they had a dreadful road trip. They are not even close to being. Honestly, I think they should just tank this thing and try to get a lottery pick.
Yep.
I don't want to be a 7th or 8th seed team or play for a play-in game. It's not good enough. This team needs a plan, and they don't have it.
It's funny. It's funny you mentioned that. For all the teams that we talk about in the NFL that we can't trust, Vikings, 49ers, Falcons, the list goes on. I think you can't trust the Celtics more than all those teams. I mean, give me a break. I mean, the Celtics get hammered, then they beat a good Milwaukee team. You can't trust the Celtics team. What are they going to do? What are they going to get what are you going to get from them every night?
You don't know.
You get a 30-point loss, you might get a 30-point win. Who the heck knows? Against anybody. I'm with you 100%, Andy. This is too ridiculous.
They're inconsistent on their wins and losses, like a high school JV team. You know, you look at it, I mean, you can't compare them to college. College, you can see more consistency in the team. Celtics, no, they're just not consistent. You don't know what team is there playing each night until it's over.
They're
No,
considered like the Minnesota Vikings.
And I think too, you know, I'm as much as I can't stand the guy, I'm not blaming Kyrie Irving anymore. He's been gone long enough. Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
This is another issue. This is a whole other issue going on here. This team is just not good. Period.
Would you get rid of Dennis Schroeder?
No, because I actually think he's not bad. I keep Brown and Tatum. You need somebody else. Like, you know, you just can't keep doing this. Enough is enough. I mean, get a plan. Let's go.
Well, maybe you go young. Maybe you go young, blow it all up, go young, start over.
Well, it's not working now.
I'm indifferent. The Tatum one is interesting. I love Tatum, and I think he should probably be around. But I also don't know if I'd be opposed to trading him, because I think too much of the team and the offense tries to revolve around him. And I think sometimes you get too much Tatum, and that's not good. So he turns the ball over, he misses shots. You know, he's going to have off nights, obviously. I love the guy. I think he's obviously a tremendous player. I'm almost just at the point, though, where maybe you trade him. And again, that probably sounds asinine. I'm probably in the minority here, but I don't know.
I think it's a possibility. I think anything's a possibility.
If you're going to trade him, you better get something in return.
Exactly. And I don't know if they can get what they feel he's probably worth back.
Yeah. You want Brad Stevens negotiating that? No, thanks.
Yeah. All right, Mike, any final thoughts from you?
No, I mean, I think we touched on everything. I just want to say one thing. HCAM Sports is just started with the season with the Hillers. Monday we had you were at the hockey game against Norwood. Tuesday, Norwell. And boys basketball Tuesday at the Athletic Center. Tonight we'll be back at Marlboro for hockey, and girls basketball and girls hockey Friday and Saturday. And the only other thing I got to say is happy anniversary, Andy.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, happy anniversary, Andy.
Happy anniversary, Andy. There you go.
All right, we are out of time for today's show. Big thank you to Jared, Andy, and Mike for joining us. For everyone at HCAM, I'm Tom Nappy. Take care, be well. We'll catch you next Wednesday on HCAM Sports Talk. Hello, everybody. Tom Nappy here, and today we're joined by Hopkinton Hillers boys varsity hockey head coach, Scott Hayes. Coach, congratulations on becoming the next head coach of Hillers boys varsity hockey. You must certainly be excited.
I am. Thank you very much, Tom. Very excited to, to join the program and help these boys out.
Absolutely. So for those that don't know, can you tell us about your background coaching hockey? You were the girls coach for the Hillers last year. Tell us a little bit about your background.
So background, go back to my playing days quickly. I played my high school hockey at Nobles. I was a captain at Tufts University. After that, joined the workforce. About 10 or 15 years later, I got the opportunity to be an assistant coach at Becker College with the coach that I played for at Tufts. So it was just a great situation for me. I was there for 3 years. I fell in love with the coaching part of the game. It was the most fun that I had since I had played my last meaningful game. From Becker, I actually had to stop at Becker because we were expecting our third child right as the season was starting, and the time commitment was a little bit too tough. But when I left Becker, I started looking for more opportunities because I loved it so much. I did a little bit of club hockey coaching, some high school age kids down in Rhode Island. And then as my kids over the past few years have come of age, we've been heavily involved with the Franklin Youth Hockey Program. I was running the Franklin in-house Mites program here in town. And, now I'm up with the Minuteman Flames as my kids are getting older and coaching here in Franklin still. So I can't get enough of it. I look for any opportunity that I can to get on the ice, to teach the game. I love every minute of it.
And the Hopkinton hockey program has made some big playoff runs the last few years, and they have really just seemed to have gotten better and better throughout the last few years and into one of the most competitive programs in the state. Do you know anything about this year's team, and how are signups going? Are a lot of kids signing up?
So I had a chance to meet the team and some prospective players last week. It was a group of excited kids. I'm very excited to get the season started. I do want to say, Coach McPherson did an amazing job over the past 10 years. And, he really built a strong reputation and foundation for this program. And, I'm just excited, to try my best to help keep that going. The outlook for this year, when I talked to the boys last week is, on paper, everybody sees we graduated 9 seniors. Most of those were major contributors. We lost our starting goalie, but, I think these days more than ever, more than back when I played, I think the kids are, young kids are more equipped to handle significant roles on a varsity team. And that goes back to just the way the game has changed since I was growing up playing. It seems like these kids, have tremendous amount of opportunities to get on the ice, and people are playing year round and from multiple teams. And, there's outside skills and skating programs that they're all into. So, I love to see that, but I do think that, it's kind of funny. I think that my young sons are mites, and there was no way that I was as good as them when I was a mite, back when I was playing. So, I see that firsthand, and I'm excited that these young kids coming in to the Hillers program, they're going to have great opportunity, to have a solid spot and a contributing spot on the team. If, I remember back when I played, that's all you can ask for, to have a shot and to be able to go for it and to, secure your spot in a program, that's exciting.
Absolutely. And of course, they play at the New England Sports Center, as the girls team did for their first time last year. I don't know about you, but I just love the New England Sports Center. I think it's just a great facility they play at. Do you know who's taken over the girls program?
I do not know that right now. The search is ongoing, I think.
How was your experience coaching that program?
It was amazing, Tom. We had a short COVID season, and, I felt like people all around the rinks, were talking about that as it was a bad thing. I thought that the girls program last year, we were able to use those, call it 2 months of the season. And we did an amazing job in establishing a foundation with regards to how we wanted to play the game, how we wanted to work in practice. And the most important thing about any of my program is that on and off the ice, we always stick together. We're always there for each other. So every moment of that girls' year, the season last year was incredible to me. I had no plans of leaving, and it almost had to be the perfect scenario